Walk me through basically what should people know. Let's say that this happens to you. What happened to this gentleman? What should people do?
First thing, wait for the storm to pass, get outside, take a look at the damage, and you want to call your insurance claims office. You don't want to call your agent, you want to call the claims office because they'll dispatch someone immediately, or an agent's probably already getting a whole bunch of phone calls and they're not going to be able to dispatch it as quickly. You call your claims office, they're going to send an adjuster out, usually within 24 hours, and then you want to contact a construction company that you trust to come out there and meet your insurance company to assess all the damage. You don't want to fix anything yourself, you don't want to touch anything. So if it's not touching the house, they're not going to approve it. So you need to make sure leave it sit as it happened, and then you want to have everybody take a look at it, get proper pictures, because if you start pulling stuff off, they're not going to cover it. So you want to take pictures as it sits. Once the storm's passed, call your agent and call a construction company you trust and have everybody meet out there, and they'll assess everything together.
And people have insurance. Generally, how much is covered? Or I mean, I guess it depends on your individual policy. But
they're all. I mean, roof stuff is they're getting to the point where it's $500 to $1,000 for a deductible. Sometimes they're 1%. Depends on what part of the country you live in. But you're gonna be responsible for at least $500 to $1,000 of it, and then everything else should be covered.
Okay, and generally speaking, what's the average amount of a claim when you see something? I mean, I know they vary, but
yeah,
what do you see?
Something a roof anywhere from $8,000 to $10,000. If you have a siding claim, those are anywhere from about $8,000 to $12,000, and windows are about $250 to $300 a piece. And you know, here we had a couple windows we had to board up. You want to make sure that broken glass is contained so no one gets cut or hurt. So that's one of the important things. You want to make sure a professional handles that.
Okay, so what is your title with the company? You're an adjuster?
Or? No, I'm an owner of the company, but I've been doing insurance claims for probably about 8 years now, and I've traveled all over the country doing it. So I've seen, you know, small stuff like this, and I've seen hail as big as, you know, lemons and golf balls going through houses and windows and stuff. So whenever a storm happens, you definitely don't want to be near a window.
Yeah. And you know and have seen, I'm sure, worse than this.
Oh, yeah.
How does this kind of storm rank?
I mean, this is pretty bad. I mean, back here, these trees, I mean, you got a lot of heavy trees here coming down. There's still some, even after we've cleaned ours up, there's still a lot of heavy limbs that are lodged. That's why it's really unsafe to have anybody out here until you have a professional tree service out here to make sure all the dangerous limbs are down, because it doesn't look big, but they weigh a couple hundred pounds. That can come down, that can crash the hood of a car, break an arm or a leg. So.
Any other tips that people should know that I didn't ask you that I'm forgetting to?
Just you want to be safe when the storm's happening, then just come out and just take plenty of pictures. Pictures are the big thing because that's your proof of what happened.
Okay, very good. And you said you've been doing this for 8 to 10 years?
Yeah,
right?
about a little over 8 years,
okay.
Yeah.
And the insurance claims, how many of them do you see in a year with this type of stuff?
I mean, 90% of my work's insurance claims. We've done probably around 1,300 or 1,400 claims in Ohio alone. So. You know, this season starts anywhere from April and it goes all the way up till November. We had some hailstorms in November, and most of the hail isn't too damaging, but when it gets bigger and you get those erratic storms like we had last night, they can get pretty damaging, and they can ding the cars up, break windows. I mean, hail is, you know, especially when it's wind driven, that's the worst part. Most important thing, you got to make sure there's trees here to the pier that are not down yet, but if you look up, you can see they're on a hanging limb, and if you go to move something yourself, that could be the little twig that breaks it and comes crashing down. That's a couple hundred pounds. So that's really important that you don't touch that and let a professional tree service take that down. When the windows, if you take a look over here, we boarded the windows up. We have some broken glass in a couple of the windows here. Get these covered, and you want to get the broken glass off the ground because you can cut yourself and it can be pretty bad. So contain the situation as it sits, and like I said, we got lots of pictures to make sure the damage is noted and we didn't clean it up and make it like it never happened. So the insurance company definitely needs to see what happened here.